Hello guys, this video is for Algebra 2, Week 8, Day 5. Um, so last section we talked about kind of like an introduction to log, and we said how do we go from exponential function, so something that looks like this with an exponent, the x being the exponent, and we convert this to the log form, which is log base b of y equals to x. So yeah, so last time we talked about this, and today we're going to be talking about how do we write the inverse function. So if you are given, this is just review. So if you are given f of x equals to a times b to the x power, okay, and then they ask you find inverse, which is f inverse of x. That negative one at the exponent means the inverse. Okay, so I'm going to show you step by step on how we convert this. So step 1, we have to first rewrite the function, which is y equal a times b to the x. So I always like to start writing y instead of f of x, so then it's easier for me to do the swap. So step 2, we're going to switch x and y. This makes it a lot easier for us to solve for our inverse. So I'm going to, instead of writing y, I write x equals a times b to the y power. Okay, so these two letters swap. And then the next step, actually before the step, I'm going to tell you that we're going to be isolating y by itself. If I have y standing by itself, then that's already the inverse. Okay, so step 3 now, we're going to divide by a. Okay, yeah, so from this step, if I divide by a on both sides, it would be x over a equal, that crosses out, so I have b to the y power. Okay, so the side with the y looks a little bit shorter now. And here's our last step, step 4. So now this looks familiar. If I have to solve for y, which is the exponent, I have to use log, because log help us to isolate the y be by itself. So look at our formula or conversion from yesterday or from the previous lesson. We have to convert to log form. Okay, which means I'm going to write log, should I use blue, is log base b of x over a equals to y. Okay, now that y is standing by itself, our final answer, put it back into f inverse of x equals to log b x over a. Okay, and that would be our step 5. Rewrite as f inverse of x. Okay, so final answer. Let's try out some example and zoom out. So let's try out f of x equals to 2 times 3 to the x, and f of x equals to log sub 4 x over 2. Okay, follow the steps at the top as much as you can to have our y standing by itself. I'm going to start out with y equal 2 times 3 to the x, and then we switch our x and y. Okay, so the 2 and the 3 needs to go away. And here's the thing. Don't think that we can multiply the 2 and 3 because we have that y to the 3 right now. So you have to divide by 2 first. So this goes away. So x over 2 equals to 3 to the y power. And to finish writing our answer, we have to use log sub 3 of x over 2 equals to y. Okay, final answer, f inverse of x equals to log sub 3 x over 2. Okay, next one. So this one is already in log. That means if I have to find the inverse, it would be in exponential form. Okay, switch our x and y. Actually, before that, we rewrite as a y first. And then now we switch our x and y. Okay, it seems like there's nothing I can do because everything is inside the log right now. So I have to rewrite this first, which is base 4 to the x power equals to y over 2. And I almost have my y standing by itself. I have to multiply by 2 on both sides. So it would be y equal 2 times 4 to the x power. Okay, again, 2 cannot multiply by 4 because we have an exponent. So our final answer here would be f inverse of x equals to 2 times 4 to the x power. Okay, so that's it for my examples. I am going to go over one question from your day 5 homework. Let's try to do number 6. Okay, so number 6, they gave you 2 times 4 to the 5 over x. And let's follow our steps from earlier. We gotta rewrite as y equal 2 times 4 to the to the 4 to the 5x. And then we gotta swap our x and y. And then now try to move as much to the left side as possible. So the 2 can be isolated because the 2 does not have the exponent. So I can just get rid of that, which is x over 2 equals to 4 to the 5y. Okay, is there anything else I can do? No, I have to rewrite as a log first. So log base 4 of x over 2 equals to the exponent, which is 5y. Okay, now the 5y is right there aligning with everything else, no more exponents, so I can divide by 5, and that's my answer. Okay, so it will be f inverse of x equals to log base 4 of x over 2 all over 5. And that's it. Okay, so finish these questions. I'm gonna go into the honors assignments real quick. I will go over one of them. So this assignment, it's about transformations of logarithmic functions. You are given the original graph, which is log x, and you're going to be using this graph to sketch the transform function m of x on the coordinate plane, and then state the domain, range, and asymptotes of m of x. Okay, so if you want to, you can use Desmos. If you want to try this on your own, feel free to um, draw it out. Okay, so I'm gonna do number two. Number two is telling me that for my function, I want to move translate 4 units to the right. Okay, so my function right now, I'm gonna be moving, like right here, this is at 1, 0, right? I'm gonna be moving this 4 units to the right, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. And nothing else changed. So to finish drawing my new picture, that means it's gonna look something like this. Okay, so you know that this is gonna keep going down forever, and it will never cross this line at the 4. And this is gonna keep going, and it will never cross the 1. Okay, so if I have to talk about my domain, what's the most left number that we can possibly reach to? It's gonna be before 4. So I'm going to use a parentheses for that because that means I'm not including 4, but everything after 4, it's good to go. And it's going to the right side, and it doesn't stop. So it's going to be infinity right there. And then now for range, this is going to keep hitting downward. So we're going to have negative infinity, comma, and the highest that it goes up to is 1, but not reaching 1. Okay, so these numbers that we're using, 4 and 1, because we're not reaching to it, those become our asymptotes. Okay, lines that we'll never reach. So in this case, our vertical asymptotes would be what, and our horizontal asymptote would be what? Vertical asymptotes would be x equal to 4, and horizontal asymptote would be y equal to 1. Okay, so try to use decimals and figure the other ones out if you kind of can't see what the transformation is. And then based on the picture, go ahead and figure out what the domain range and asymptotes are. Okay, that's it.